For those that are having difficulty accessing the PowerPoint slideshows in Blackboard, I wanted to do a recording and run through it with you. The first one we're going to do here is the A vehicle inspection. It includes the approach to the vehicle, the front of the tractor, both sides of the engine compartment, all of the steering components, and everything on the front axle, including brakes, tires, and suspension. And then we end with a light operations check. For this demonstration, we'll be using a 2001 Volvo. At the front of the vehicle, I like to work from the top down. You can do it in whatever order you prefer. So I'm going to start with the clearance lights at the top of the tractor. They are secure and not damaged. They are clean and amber in color. The turn signal assembly has a built-in reflector that needs to be called out. So my turn signal and reflector are securely mounted. They're not damaged. They are clean and amber in color. And I would do it the same on the other side. The headlight is secure and not damaged. They are both on both sides are clean and clear. And there are no leaks underneath. I would be checking for puddles on the ground of coolant, power steering fluid, or oil. For this Detroit engine, on the passenger side, I would check the coolant level. I would make sure the reservoir itself is secure, it's not damaged or leaking. The cap is on tight and it's not leaking, and the coolant is at the adequate level. The water hoses on both sides of the engine, so you have to check them when you get to the other side, are secure at both ends. They're not damaged or leaking. The water pump is gear driven. It is secure. It's not damaged. It's not leaking, and it operates correctly. The alternator is belt driven. It is secure and not damaged. All of the wires attached to it are secure and not damaged. No bare wires showing. The belts are not frayed. And then I would check the belt for tightness. I would check and make sure that it does move between 1/2 and 3/4 inch. The oil level is at the proper level. I would explain that I would pull it out, wipe it off, reinsert it, pull it back out, check to make sure it's between add and full. On the driver's side of the engine, I would check to make sure that the air compressor is securely mounted, it's not damaged, it's not leaking, it operates correctly, and it is gear driven. The power steering pump is gear driven, it is secure and not damaged, it's at the proper level, it's not leaking, and it operates correctly. The steering linkage includes all the links and rods that go from the steering shaft down to the drag link. So we'll go through them individually. The steering shaft or column is secure, it's not bent, and it has no more than 10 degrees of play in it. The steering knuckle is secure, it's well greased, and there's no trash or debris in it. The steering gearbox is secure, it's not damaged, and it's not leaking. The pitman arm is secure and not damaged. The drag link is secure and not damaged, it's not bent or twisted. And the bushings at both ends are well greased, they're not worn or damaged or missing, and the castle nut and cotter pins are in place. The suspension, the front spring hanger, is secure and not damaged. The bushings are not damaged or missing, and the rear spring hanger has an identical description. So you can combine them, but if you do, you have to point to and name them separately. So for example, I would say my front spring hanger, and then also point to the back and identify my rear spring hanger. They are both securely mounted, not damaged. The bushings are not damaged or missing. The leaf springs are secure and not damaged. They're straight with no signs of shifting, and no more than 1/4 of one leaf can be missing. U-bolts are secure and not damaged. Both of them are present. There are no shiny metal or other signs of shifting. The shock is secure at both ends, has no damage, and is not leaking. The brakes, the hoses are secure at both ends. I don't hear any leaks from the fittings. The hose is not damaged or cracked and it's not leaking. The brake chamber is secure and not damaged. The clamp and bolt are in place and it's not leaking. The slack adjuster and push rod are secure and not damaged. All the little pins are tightly in place. And with the brakes released, the push rod should not move more than 1 inch. The brake shoes and the brake drums can be done together as well because they both need to be secure and not damaged and free of grease and oil. And then you would add that the brake shoes must have at least 1/4 of an inch of pad on them, or you can say that they're not dangerously thin. Now in this photo, the brake pads and drums on the front axle have dust covers. They're only little small slots for inspection. It makes it difficult to see them. So you may want to look at a set of trailer brakes for a better view so you know what it is that you're referring to. On the front axle or the steer tires, you want to make sure that the tires are evenly worn. They have at least 4/32 of an inch of tread in all major grooves. There's no cuts, damage, or bulges to the sidewalls of the tires. The rims are secure and not damaged, and they have no welding repairs. There's no rust around the rim, which would indicate a slipped tire. The valve stem is secure, it's not damaged, it has a cap on it, and it's not leaking. I would check my inflation with an air pressure gauge. The lug nuts are all present. They are not damaged. There's no shiny metal or rust trails coming from them indicating a loose lug nut. The hub seal is secure and not damaged. All the bolts are in place. It's not leaking and it is filled to the correct level. Finally, the external light check. You would ask your instructor or examiner to verify that the lights are working as you go through them and turn them on. So you want to turn on the clearance lights, which on this model come on with the headlights, to make sure that they are working correctly. You would also check the headlights, the high and the low beams, left turn signal, right turn signal, and 4-way flashers. Thank you for watching and good luck on your test.